Hello, this is Danny. Welcome to a whole nother awesome review. Today I'm going to be reviewing George Romero's classic, The Dawn of the Dead. And guess what? I just watched this movie for the first time. It's from 1978 and this is the Blu-Ray disc. Now let me just tell you guys, the Blu-ray transfer is fantastic for this film. Not so much for the sound quality. It doesn't come with a DTS HD Master audio. It only comes with Dolby Surround 5.1 and PCM 5.1 original mono, and personally the sound is pretty bad, but the video quality is actually really good, and you know, the sound just does not cut it. You really got to turn your sound up loud on this movie to actually get the full, you know thing. And I found that really what works with this movie is actually wearing headphones. For some reason, headphones works better with this movie, and that's because the surround sound's just really not that good. I'm just gonna be totally honest with you guys. It sounds not that great of this movie. But the transfer of this film is actually really good. Now there's a couple of spots in this transfer where I noticed it went from HD to standard, and somebody making this Blu-ray did something wrong in a couple of spots near the end. Like for 3 seconds. You'll notice it if you go back and watch it. They kind of messed up a little bit on this Blu-ray, but it is a good transfer. There's only like 3 seconds I noticed that were standard instead of high definition, and was done incorrectly for some reason. But regardless, it's a very good Blu-ray, full 1080p, pretty good quality actually. If I was to rate the Blu-ray out of 10, I would give it a 9. Now, the rating for this movie itself out of 10, I would give it a 9. This is the sequel to Night of the Living Dead from 1968. This is a much funner movie than a Night of the Living Dead. This is the sequel. It's a lot more fun, but it's not as scary as the original. Now a lot of people are going to argue with me on this because I know there's a lot of Dawn of the Dead hardcore fans out there. But I'll admit this, okay? To anybody out there who's a fan of the movie, I admit that this movie is better than the remake. Personally, I like this movie better than the remake. I never actually liked the remake, and I don't really know why. It kind of felt like, they were doing... I never actually saw the original when I saw the remake, but I kind of got that feeling like they were trying to recreate something. You know what I mean? Like, recreate scenes from the movie, like the mall scene. Like there was more of a reason why they went to the mall in the original. There's a helicopter scene. It's more, I don't know, natural. And the remake, it just kind of feels like they're just going there because it happened in the original. So I appreciate that in the original, that George Romero makes a more natural transition in the original. And that's one of the reasons why I like this movie better. And I also enjoy the acting more in the original than the remake, because I thought the acting was better in the original than the remake. The only thing I can admit about the remake is the fact that the makeup was better in the remake, but not the gore effects. The gore effects I still feel were better in the original. I just didn't like the clay face, kind of like zombies going around killing people. That kind of took me out of it a little bit. And that's kind of why I prefer Night of the Living Dead over, let's say, Dawn of the Dead, scary-wise. Now, this is a much funner film. This is a much funner sequel. There's a lot of parts in the movie that are kind of ridiculous and over the top, but that's kind of like the feel of the movie. And it really goes well, with the atmosphere of the 70s. It feels like a 70s film. It feels like one of those grindhouse movies. This movie was made under $1 million, which is amazing because they got a lot of actors in this. and you can see that they put a lot of effort into making this movie. The special effects are fantastic. People are getting their heads blown off, guts coming out, everything. It's fantastic. But the only thing I can complain about is the clay face zombies. I couldn't get over it. It's almost like a Night of the Living Dead was scarier for the fact that it felt more like a documentary than actually a movie. It feels like kind of like the Blair Witch Project. You know, like George Romero's Blair Witch Project kind of feel to it. The black and white actually lends itself to the film, I feel, better than even Dawn of the Dead, because Dawn of the Dead is in color and the zombies are gray face. It just kind of takes me out of it a little bit. Or regardless, a great film. I give it 9 out of 10. Really fun film to watch. It wasn't so much scary for me, because I was kind of more creeped out when I watched Night of the Living Dead. And I still have, you know, it's still a really creepy movie. Like, you know, the original Night of the Living Dead compared to Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead is a fun movie. And for me, this is the ultimate zombie mall movie. There'll never be a zombie film and a mall that's better than the original George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, because he was the first person to really do that and really make it, you know, amazing. And anybody who does it after that is basically just copying George Romero. And it's funny because I had never seen this movie before. And now that I checked it out, I can see that there's stuff in The Walking Dead that borrows from this movie. Like, you know, the pregnant woman in the film. You know, the emotional, you know, problems going on kind of thing. That's all kind of like taken from this film and basically made into the miniseries The Walking Dead. I can see how that graphic novel took things from, you know, George Romero's classic and basically, you know, put that in the show, because this was a groundbreaking movie in 1978, and it was the first, you know, film to actually really do that in a zombie movie. George Romero was one who created the zombie film, and he basically brought it to the next level with, you know, relationships going on in the actual film. It's not just focused on the zombies, it's actually focused on the stories of the people. And that's what I appreciate about this film. It's not just like a straight up slasher movie. It's about what's going on with, you know, the different characters in the movie. And that's what I really liked about it. So I give it 9 out of 10. I still say that Night of the Living Dead is a much scarier film, and I can appreciate that it's in black and white because it feels more like a documentary, where this film feels more theatrical. But still, regardless, it's a fantastic film. I enjoyed it way more than the remake, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, because I know a lot of people that like the remake. But for me, I preferred this over the remake. And, you know, I actually really liked it. And, you know, what I really liked about it was the strong characters, and, you know, how the film all came together. The only thing I didn't like about it was kind of like the ending. The ending kind of felt kind of weak to me. But other than that, it was good. You know, I don't want to give away the ending, but, you know, I really wish the ending would have gone somewhere, basically. But other than that, it was really good. So I give it 9 out of 10. Check it out, Dawn of the Dead. And have a happy Halloween, everyone. Check this movie out. It rocks. And have an awesome night.